The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. W's products are made in the USA in an FDA inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom made by W, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. W's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. W Energy, be better. Are you a fellow car guy? I have a 2008 Ford Mustang GT convertible, and nothing makes me happier in that car than when it's nice and clean. And you know who helps me get there? RevAutoCarCare.com. They help me get that pony looking as nice and shiny and ready for any of the car meetups that are all around the great city of El Paso. Spoil your car and go to RevAutoCarCare.com/Tipton and view all the inventory they have and find out what works for you to help make your ride shine. RevAutoCarCare.com/Tipton. Use promo code Tipton33 at checkout to save 15%. We all know there's hundreds of betting sites out there, but don't be fooled. Some sites are legal in some states only. Some sites pay in Bitcoin, and some sites have even been hacked. BetUS, however, has been in business for over 30 years. Future bets are paying out in the thousands, and if you act right now, you can still bet on the biggest games in sports. Visit BetUS.com, or you can click the link at nessp.info. BetUS, check it out and bet responsibly. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com.
Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice. Please
Oh,
do not
there is
know.
never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice? Warm water, baby. It's bubbling, baby. Warm water. Warm water.
It is a Saturday afternoon. That means it is time for a little fire and ice. Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cone, hanging out with our guy, Darren Hunt, over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. Brandon, the all-you-can-eat wings are going away on June 26th. That means you've got 5 days. 5 days to get out here and gorge yourself as much as you possibly can. We tried doing that about a week and a half ago, and it didn't work out in our favor, Darren. We were only able to put down, 26 a piece, something around that number, right, Brandon?
Yeah, something around that. I mean, we thought we'd do a lot more. The record is 100 and something.
Really?
Yeah. So I figure if we did that, you could probably do 10, knowing you.
I can't keep pace with you guys.
Well,
No,
I
I expected to walk in here and see your picture up on the wall with
an X on
championship belt hanging above it.
No, it would have been these
20,
two guys
how
are
many?
banned.
25, would you say?
Yeah,
maybe?
25, almost 30. I want to say it was 25.
Because we were doing the
28
mix
around
and match, the
Yeah.
boneless and the bone in and all that.
I felt like I could have did more, but I wound up doing the
Fries.
teriyaki one. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
teriyaki one, it didn't sit well with me.
No.
Yeah, and then
Killed
all
my
the
entire
fries,
appetite.
you eat the starch and all that, and you know,
Stick to the wings.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
stick to just the wings,
Because they're
you can
not
have
counting the
more.
fries.
No, they're
only
not.
counting
No,
the
they're
wings.
just the wings.
I
you know?
didn't eat any of the fries, but Brandon was just shoveling them shoveling them by the handful.
And if you have a
He likes
beer,
fries.
that doesn't. Now, in our defense, though, Tip, You're like, hey, let's go to beer. I'm like, okay. So then
Well,
you drink a
that
freaking
was
beer.
afterwards.
No. We were still going. But then you even said we're going to
No.
slow down once we have a beer, and you were right.
No, I said once I had the teriyaki, I said I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I'll get my beer now.
And then I made the mistake of still eating
Yes.
when the beer
You
came.
guys are like an old married couple.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I think that's what makes this relationship so great.
It's true though.
It is. It really
are.
is.
We really are. We're like the odd couple, him and I. You know.
But remember, you can come on out here all the way to June 26th as well. You can get the $4 Wild Herd. That's a house beer that they have here at Buffalo Wild Wings, along with $5 Bud Lights and $6 Voodoo Ranger IPA. That's one of the rare IPAs that I actually like, Brandon. So Voodoo Ranger, you can get that all for $6, but that's only until June 26th, whenever the entire special is over.
That's it. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
It's coming and going fast. It's almost here.
I'm sure there'll be something new.
Yeah,
right?
they
There's
will have
always a
something.
shtick. They always have the, like the happy hour, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've memorized it now. It's BOGO bone-in wings, but it's buy one get one 50% off. Thursdays it's BOGO boneless wings.
Nice.
Both include fries, and then they always have the happy hour shticks.
You know, this would be an awesome place to be tomorrow night for Game 7.
Oh,
wouldn't it?
Game
I
7.
mean, if you're gonna watch a Game 7,
yeah.
you know,
And they actually have specials during the basketball games too.
Yes, that's right. They have their halftime specials. We can talk about that coming up in just a little bit, but Darren set me up just perfectly for that
He
one.
sure did.
Talking about Game 7.
He sure did.
Brandon, I feel like we've gone the last 2 weeks without talking about the
Yes.
NBA Finals,
we
which has
have.
been just sacrilegious. The Indiana Pacers doing what I don't think anyone thought the Indiana Pacers could do, which is getting to a Game 7.
Mhm.
I thought we all thought these games would be competitive.
Mhm.
They'd be fun. It's been really fun basketball to watch. But no one would have said, I know one guy, that would have said that there was going to be a Game 7. Not me. I thought this thing was done in 5. So that shows you how little I know. I even went loud as hell on Thursday and said there's no way Indiana's winning that game on the road or at home, and Indiana dominated.
Yep.
Absolutely dominated the Oklahoma City Thunder in that one.
I got 2 words for you, Rick Carlisle.
Mhm.
Guy did it with Dallas as an underdog. I mean, has he been a favorite in any NBA championship
think so.
series game the whole time? He's
Well,
always been an underdog, and he's figuring it out. And my money's on him tomorrow to figure it out one more time.
I want to,
Yeah.
right? Like I want to see Indiana win the championship because I think it's such an amazing story. You're talking about them being an underdog, like Rick Carlisle being an underdog in the championship. They've been an underdog this entire playoff,
Mhm.
right? And the thing is you have to go all the way back to January and realize this is the second best team in the NBA,
Yeah.
right behind Oklahoma City. So we have number 1, number 2 going all the way back to January. But nobody, myself included, and again, Indiana, I apologize. No one could have seen this happening.
Yeah.
No.
It's a beautiful game when 5 guys play together, right? I mean, and when guys are healthy, and now you got Halliburton just getting healthy at the right time, just healthy enough. He plays a game like Game 6 tomorrow, then you know they got a great shot on the road. I know OKC trying to win their first title. They're at home. So many things, you know, you got to think how could they let that get away? But Rick Carlisle, man, I mean, and Pascal Siakam, I mean, my
He's
God.
incredible.
Maybe,
Incredible.
I mean, we think about great UTEP players who've come out of here and done great things in the NBA. Tim, of course, maybe top of the list, but Siakam is doing things that no player from this area has maybe ever done. He's
won a ring already
has
with
to
the
be
North.
about to win another.
I mean, I think it's going to be challenging to win Game 7 there. But if anything else, their silver lining is they won Game 2 there,
Yep.
so they know they can win in hostile territory.
Yep.
It's going to be a really tough Game 7. It's no gimme for OKC. I mean, in the end, you would have to say, well, the edge goes to the Thunder. But I'm not at all surprised if tomorrow Indiana's hoisting their first Larry O'Brien trophy. I'm serious.
We're blessed because of Game 7.
Yeah, it
Game
hasn't
7 in
happened.
any sport is wonderful.
How long
It's
has it
nice
been
to be able
in
to
the
see.
finals?
Since 2016.
16 when
Since 2016
the
was
Cavs
Golden
and,
State and the Warriors, or Golden State and Cleveland, as you said. That amazing series, LeBron James with
when
the
they were
chase
down
down block,
3-1. Yeah.
all that stuff, right?
So for all those haters out there who always say, "Oh, they always go 7, they always go 7," it
Not
hasn't
really.
happened in a
Not
while.
really. It doesn't
So
happen.
for the true fans, this is a treat, and for those who say it's fixed because they got to go 7 for advertisers, that's a bunch of garbage.
Can I talk about that for a minute? Can I please talk? So if you're saying that it's
Get a
going to go,
drink of water here.
yeah, if it's going to go 7 games for the advertisers, what you don't realize is all those payments were already made at the beginning of the
They
season.
were, yeah.
Right? Like the advertisers already paid. They don't care if it goes 4 or 7. They've already got their money. right? Like
That's how it
that's all
works.
they care about. They're not getting anything extra because it goes 7 games, whether it's 4 or 7. They've already paid.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they don't
it's
have
good
to
for
worry
the sport.
about
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, like I hated the Yankees in
Mhm.
Game 5 last year. I mean, we're going to go back to LA for Game 6 and 7 of the World Series in Dodger Stadium, Yankees Dodgers, and 3 errors in 1 inning. You know, I hated the Yankees I hated them for a
Well,
long
I'm not
time.
a big fan. He's a Yankees fan. I'm not.
I
a Yankees
disliked
fan.
them over the summer because they robbed us of a Game 6 and possibly
Yeah.
Game 7.
Yeah,
Imagine
I'm a
imagine
Yankees
how
fan,
much
though,
it sucked being a Yankees fan, watching Aaron Judge,
Yeah.
the star of the team, not be able to catch a single. Oh God,
He's
That was
set up for a great redemption story.
Oh, yeah.
The guy
Yeah, that
is
was a rough
such a
Game
great
5.
guy. He is a good person. Didn't like seeing that happen to him, to the Yankees. All right, but again, I was rooting hard in Game 5 for that to go back. I mean, I'm a baseball fan. I want to see that.
Clearly,
And
I was
Game
rooting hard
7s
for it
is
too.
what we all want. Yeah, I mean, in baseball, I think it's good. Game 7s are just the most magical because home field is maybe not as much 1-inch ball this way, that way, one pitch, everything resting on every moment. I mean, you know, tomorrow could be a little like that, so enjoy it, sports fans.
And that's the best thing about like this series going 7. Once again, no one thought it was going to go 7. You look at what Indiana's doing. Nobody on their team is averaging more than 20 points in this NBA final.
Tremendous
This is
defensive
an
team.
yeah.
This is an entire team effort that we're seeing, and they're not going like 6 or 7 deep. They're going like 11 deep.
Coach Haskins would love this team
Oh,
because
yeah.
he never let anybody score over
No,
20, right?
no,
Taking him out because he didn't want big heads, and he coached. He was always in control of what was going on out there. And Rick Carlisle, man, jeez, I mean,
It's the
great
Rick Carlisle.
coaches. He's a Hall of Famer, and anyway, he's
It's
going to
just-
add to it
and-
tomorrow. I think he'll figure it out.
And again, like it's so hard for me to pick against Oklahoma City because that's a team that won 68 games. That suffocating defense. They have the MVP. All the pressure in the world right now is on Oklahoma City
is.
to perform. Indiana's playing with house money, man. You're not supposed to be here. Everyone picked against you against Milwaukee, against Cleveland. Most people picked against them against the Knicks. And they came into this series being like, you gave up 140 points a game to the Knicks. You're going to just get mollywopped by Oklahoma City. They win game 1 in that dramatic fashion, being down 15 points with 3 minutes left in the game. Come back and win that game. There is no such thing as a safe lead with this team. Because let's not forget, in game 5, they were down by 18 in the second half, got within 2. And they just didn't have enough to get over that hump.
At the beginning of this series, I talked to a lot of guys. I work out at Andrews High School and hang a lot around with the basketball program out there. Gene Costello is the coach, who Eugene was a guard for Haskins many years ago, actually for Rabideau when he was first year here. And I asked all those guys, so, 4 or 5 basketball coaches, how do you see this series? And not one of them picked Indiana.
Sure, of course.
I said OKC in 6 myself, so I didn't think they could get to this point. But now that they're here and it's down to that one ball game, it's so much different now. And I think you throw out the home court a little bit in Game 7. So that's where I just think.
Well, and that's the
Indiana's
thing
gonna get it
that
done.
I'm going to say too, right? Like Oklahoma City's fan base has watched Indiana come back on them twice.
They have.
If this game is close in the fourth quarter, you're going to have an extremely nervous fan base in that stadium, and that translates onto the court. Like you saw how the home court advantage in Indiana helped propel them to a 30-point mollywhopping in Game 6. Right? No one thought that it was going to go that way. We thought it was going to be a close game. Indiana went out there and just slapped the hell out of it.
They've got to have that chip on their shoulder too, as a city, right? Because a lot of people kind of snicker at OKC in the NBA, in a sense, because they're not one of the big. Well, you're not New York City and all these other places or LA, but here's a chance for one that's a smaller franchise kind of situation in a smaller city to win one. So a lot of pressure there.
And a lot of people also look, in my opinion, at least, as the transplant teams in a different way. They're the Supersonics and this and that. They came from Seattle, just like in hockey when Quebec went to Colorado and became a dominant force, winning 2 Stanley Cups in Denver. This is a situation where there's a lot of Seattle fans that are extremely bitter, I think, that are like, that's our team. They left this years ago. We don't want to see them win it all. But Indiana's got a lot of history. They got the rich basketball history, obviously. So
25 years since the Indiana Pacers have been in the NBA Finals. We're talking about 13 years for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It all comes down to Game 7. Brandon, who you got in Game 7?
Oh, boy. I'm going to be a schmuck.
Uh-oh.
I like Indiana.
I don't think you can say it's a schmuck.
I thought he was
Yeah, I thought he was going to go the other way
against
around.
me, but
Yeah.
I like Indiana. I think Indiana's going to win.
I've got the Pacers.
Wow.
Just like
He's
to see it.
Two
Have a little bit of a
schmucks.
tie.
Two
My dad
schmucks.
was stationed at Fort Benjamin Harrison in Indianapolis as a kid. ABA days. My brother and I used to take the bus downtown to Market Square Arena and see the Pacers play when they had George McGinnis and
What a
Billy
nice
Kilmer
town
as a guard. Yeah.
Indianapolis is.
Oh,
It
really
was
is.
fun.
Yeah.
I was probably 7, 8 years old, and I was riding the bus with my big brother to go to ball
That's
game
pretty
downtown.
cool. That's pretty
The
cool.
world has changed.
It has. I remember the RCA Dome when I went there.
Wow.
It was still there. Yeah.
I think that's after me.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
When I went there.
I'm going with the
India.
Oklahoma State.
Well,
I think
yeah,
somebody
but
got it.
that's a given,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, but rightfully so too. I
But
mean,
again,
they
like
are at home,
I
you
have
know.
take your
zero.
money.
I have zero confidence in this game. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, I'm not betting at all.
No, it could go either way.
It's a tough game to to wager on. It really is. If you are wagering, but obviously the smart money, if you want to look at like that, is on OKC.
Sure.
I mean, it makes sense.
Home court.
You got the home court. The home court's the home court. But I just there's something about that Game 6 winner, isn't it? What's the statistic? 80-something%, Tip?
They go on to win.
They
game
go
seven?
on to win the championship.
Yeah.
And again,
You know that.
statistics are all statistics. They're all sometimes smoke and mirrors. But
Well, momentum
we
is
know
real.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We know who has the momentum right now,
They
right?
do.
So
But I mean, you would have said that going into Game 6 with Oklahoma City winning 2 in a row.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
And the thing is, Oklahoma City's only lost 2 games in a row this season.
Huh?
And one of the times, get an ad here for some strange reason. One of the times that they lost was in November, right? Real early part of the season. I think it was like the 4th and 5th game of the season. Then they lose again in April. It's so hard to think that this team is going to lose back-to-back games at home with the MVP of the league. Like, I just can't see it. But there's a part of me that really wants it to happen. Like the legacy building that we're seeing for a guy in Tyrese Halliburton that was considered the most overrated player in the NBA this year. If he can end this season with an Olympic gold medal, being the main guy, because he is the main guy on the Indiana Pacers, and winning an NBA championship, I don't think he gets finals MVP. I think that's got to go to Pascal Siakam because he's been playing his ass off.
yes,
But the heartbeat of that team is Tyrese Halliburton.
oh yeah, it's tremendous.
Can never call him overrated again.
No, he's not overrated. I mean, I just think there's a lot of great stories, and I think that there are people and the naysayers and the doubters in the end that say we didn't get the finals matchup we wanted, we didn't get the big market teams. But to me, it's good for basketball, it's good for the NBA, it's good for the little guy, it's good for, as you noted, the OKCs, the obscure markets that nobody really thinks of.
Yeah, it reminds me of the snobs in baseball a couple of years ago when Texas and Arizona met. in World Series.
Absolutely,
And everybody's like,
absolutely.
there's no New York team, there's no California team, and we're upset about that. But I mean, I loved it. It was my team.
It's your team.
Yeah, and I got
Yeah.
to see him win it.
You
but
went to 2 games.
yeah, it's good.
If-
2 and 5. Yeah.
If there's anything that we've learned about this, you can't make everybody happy,
No,
right? Like,
never
like
will.
everyone
Never
out there,
will, no.
if this would have been the Lakers and Knicks in the NBA Finals, everyone, it's fixed, right? And like, of course, you would have had like amazing ratings, but
Probably.
it's fixed.
Yeah.
Now you have an opportunity for all those naysayers that are out there talking all that crap about ESPN. ESPN shoves the Lakers, shoves the Knicks down your throat. You have 2 great basketball teams
Yeah.
playing great basketball in this series. And all these games have been fun. Like, even though Game 6 was an ass whooping, it was a fun game to
Yeah.
watch.
Sure, it was. It was great. I mean, like I said, I was entertaining for me, and we were, we're sitting there watching the game a little bit here and there, right? And you're like, hey, it looks like we're going to a Game 7. I mean,
When you saw it was so lopsided, we went back to watching the Chihuahuas. But yeah, I mean, it was 22 at the half,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And-
exactly,
and
you
so
know.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have to admit I don't watch a lot of NBA during the season, but I tune in at this time, and my eyes will be on it tomorrow night, certainly. And just doesn't happen as often as people think it does. But it's a good time to be able to sit down and watch a Game 7.
Sure, looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be an exciting Game 7.
Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cohen, Darren Hunt hanging out with you over here as we are live at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso. Our guy, Tommy Cananza, tuning in saying, what's up, fellas? Now, Darren,
Mhm.
we mentioned these teams a little bit earlier. We were talking about the Yankees, how disappointed you were in the Yankees and not being able to get to a Game 6 or 7 last year because my guy, Aaron Judge, for whatever reason, couldn't catch a fly ball to save his
Happens.
life last year. He got the yips in that one time. He's on one hell of a redemption story right now, though.
He is.
Batting close to 400,
Yeah.
number 2 in home runs, I believe, leading the AL in RBIs as well. He's batting 400 with the possibility of getting a Triple Crown, which is just absolutely amazing. We don't see that very often.
No, he's doing things that few people have ever done, if ever. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to take note of that. And you know, in addition to that, he's a great guy. He's a good person. And that's why it was so tough to watch that go down last year. But again, if he comes back and puts them in the World Series and they win one, and he does what he's doing individually and puts that team on his back and does that, you know, with Stanton out and guys out, you know, this lineup looks completely different, but he's the common factor that's there. You know, he'll be a legendary guy in New York forever and ever and ever. I mean, he'll be up there with Mantle and all the greats and Gehrig and DiMaggio.
And you mentioned it right now. Like, there's a lot of injuries. A lot of people don't realize this about the Yankees. There's a lot of injuries. Yes, they've lost, 3 out of their last 4 games. They've lost against the Angels and to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Yankees fan, so that's how I know about all this stuff. It's going to happen. But the fact they're still leading their division with their team not being 100%, and no team is going to finish the season at 100%. But if you can get Stanton back, if you can get some of those arms back to help out your rotation, I think the Yankees are going to be I hate saying this because I'm a Yankees fan, so it's like obviously, of course. I think we're on a collision course of seeing the Yankees-Dodgers in the World Series again.
Yeah, I think it could be a repeat. I wouldn't be against that. I'm kind of hoping Rangers-Dodgers. Rangers are hanging around 500, and, you know, we've got to get to the break that way, and then kind of we've got the arms, you know, but they need to get the bats going, and they're mixing things. Seager's got to get going for the Rangers, or that's just not going to happen. You need him to lead the way, and he has to stay healthy. I think it's the same for the Yankees. If Judge stays healthy and he's doing that, then they're going to be around. And if it's not Rangers-Dodgers, then I'll take Yankees-Dodgers again any day of the week. But let's hope for 6 or 7, you know, and hope there's no terrible three error innings.
Yeah, I'm hoping for 4 in the favor of New York. I don't want to see the less I see of the Dodgers, the happier I am.
Well, you look for that, but you know, it's tough in baseball. Like you said, they've lost 3 out of the last 4. They're really a great team, and they've done, you know, they've got a great record, and they're doing it in the division. But it's a tough sport. You got to stay with them. I gave up on the Rangers a little bit in 2023, but I decided one day, you know, I'd stick with it. And you know, I watch every game, and it's tough to do to put that kind of time into it. But I stuck with it, and I got a World Series championship out of it. So as a fan, you know, that's the greatest feeling in the world. So I would urge people, 3 out of 4, you're all right. Hang in there. Oh, yeah, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, baseball's going to baseball. Yeah. A team that I think we can all agree is absolute dog crap would be the Chicago White Sox. Brandon, you got anything nice to say about your team?
Well, they're the Pope's team. That's all I can say.
That's the coolest thing ever. I love this guy.
That's pretty awesome.
He had a White Sox hat on in the Vatican the other day. And he was driving. It was awesome.
Pope Mobile, like White Sox. White Sox.
I saw the
White
chant.
Sox. You know,
it's beautiful.
They were
baseball
in
the
Rome.
Vatican, man.
They were saying they should play a White Sox Cup Series in Rome.
They should
next season. That'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
You know, that'd be freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Have the Pope bless it and be there and give a speech. He's got to throw the first pitch out at Comiskey one day.
Well, or
hopefully he will.
Or in Rome at the series.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be pretty awesome.
Baseball, you have to make that happen, right?
They have to figure it out.
They're doing some of that, right? So I mean, that might be a good one.
If you're opening the season in Japan, why not open it in Italy?
I'm sure the White Sox would give up 3 home games.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
It's going to take a couple of years here.
But hey, our Pope's, you know, he's a Sox fan, so he's a Chicagoan. You know, is the Pope from Chicago? Yes, he is. So that's my boy. That's the Pope.
I hope he can get his prayers answered.
Yes, me too. Yeah. Hopefully the White Sox are worth a crap one of these days again. You know what I mean?
Right. Hang in there.
How bad do you feel for the Tampa Bay Rays hearing that they're about to be sold right now at a value of, what was it, $1.3 billion, right? Which is an amazing number. Yeah. But you announced that the exact same week that the Lakers get sold for $10 billion. And the Tampa Bay Rays, to me, again, like that's a fun team to watch. Like, I know they're in the same division with the Yankees, but they always seem to be hanging around.
Yeah, I think their ballpark always helped them. And, you know, now, of course, that's damaged. They're playing elsewhere. But I don't know the details of the sale with the Rays. I did read a little bit about it. Sounded to me like they're relocating them in the same area, but they're going to build a new ballpark,
They need to.
which has to be done.
They
I saw a game there a couple of years ago, and I was, it was kind of a different feel. It was like seeing a game in Japan. I hear, all domes, right? And they're small domes, so you're kind of right on top of the action. But I saw the Tigers play the Rays there a couple of years ago, visiting family in Florida, and that was quite an experience. Kind of a cool, different experience, but I would not want that to be my home ballpark to go to games there all the time.
It's ugly.
So, but they have such potential with St. Petersburg there and all those options. They could be on the water like they are in San Francisco, and they could really do something beautiful. It's going to obviously have to have a cover, but maybe it can be retractable. Maybe they can play some games outdoors. That would be nice to see.
He came up with a good concept. I talked about the stadium. If the Marlins get a new stadium, we talked about the fact there's a dome that they literally retractable dome. 6 times a year they actually open the stadium because it's too humid there. But you actually pointed out the only reason they built that is because there was a tax break.
Yeah,
to have the retractable dome.
So they had to have the retractable dome and a couple of other things. The funny thing about that is too, that's the only ballpark that came in on schedule and on budget.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Which is crazy
it's
that the Miami
nice
Marlins are the team that
nobody
got that
shows
shot.
up there. Nobody shows up there. Friends and family at best.
What was that game we showed the other day?
800 people.
It was the White
Colorado.
Sox.
No, Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's garbage. They're the worst team in the majors.
800 people.
800 people. And I went there about 5 or 6 years ago. Beautiful. They used to have an aquarium behind home plate.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bobblehead museum there. Okay. We sat wherever the hell we wanted because there was nobody there, but it was the nicest damn ballpark. You're a big fan of visiting ballparks.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet.
Beautiful stadium.
But that's on the list.
It's very nice.
Sure.
Very nice.
I know if I ask you this question, I know you're going to say Texas. So we're taking Texas off the list. What's the best ballpark you've been to?
Oh, Fenway.
Yeah, that's
Fenway
cool.
is
Gross.
I had a hard time at Fenway.
Thank you for tuning in the show, guys.
Thank you for your time, Darren.
Just because of all the history, and it's just amazing. I mean, you're walking into a time machine. It's like one of those Easter eggs. I saw this written the other day. It's like one of those Easter eggs, they do the little scenes inside the little sugar egg, and it looks like an unreal place. That's what the inside of Fenway. You walk in there, and that green forest green paint from the Green Monster. And I was there. My first experience was 4th of July. I was solo, and so I just kind of soaked it in. And there were some tears when I first saw it. I'll admit it. It was awesome to be able to soak that in. Then I got an hour and 45-minute rain delay. Had grandstand seats, not great, but okay, down the first base line. Rain delay for hour and 45. So I walked all around the ballpark, got to see everything I wanted to see, and then everybody left because it was the 4th. So I sat front row behind the Rangers dugout for the rest of the game. So
and then
beautiful.
Why not?
Then saw the game 2 and 3 of the series the next 2 nights. Rode the subway to the games. All my Texas stuff and had some fun with the fans on the subway. It was awesome. It was a great experience. I would urge anyone, if you are a true baseball fan, you got to see Fenway. You have to do Boston.
I feel like he called me out with that one. Like, if you're a true baseball
fan,
well,
go see the Yankees there. Go see the Yankees there and wear your gear and take.
That's the only way I'm going in. I'm going to be
take the flack. I took the flack as a Ranger fan, but you'll get a lot more. But it's an experience. Friendly people, wonderful place. It's a neighborhood ballpark like we have downtown, which is really cool. I mean, we have a Fenway of sorts because they had to squeeze it in. That's what they did with Fenway. They squeezed it in between the streets. That's why it's shaped that way. We have sort of a blue monster in left field down at our ballpark, and they squeezed it in, right? City Hall was there, Santa Fe Street, Durango. Those are the best ballparks. When you squeeze them in between streets, you get those different dimensions. We're blessed here.
And then to me, like that view you get at Southwest University Park or like downtown El Paso, especially whenever you're kind of higher up, like that's one of the best views that you can get in the city. I will stand by that time and time again. I will say though, last year whenever I went for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game to Globe Life Field, absolutely amazing stadium.
Yeah, beautiful.
Top of the line stadium.
I'm not sure you know this, but it was designed by an Irvin High School graduate, guy I graduated with, Fred Ortiz. Fred works for HKS. Fred was our tight end on our high school football team. I love telling this story. I'll be quick. But Fred was our tight end, played for Coach Shaw at Irvin. He went to UT Arlington on a football scholarship. First year there, they dropped football at UT Arlington. So Fred was a very smart guy. He was top 10% in the class. He was always doing drafting and different things. And I don't know, he was just a smarter guy, tall guy, good tight end. But he wanted to go to Louisiana Tech and play football. He called Coach Shaw. Coach Shaw said, Fred, you wanted to be an architect, right? Isn't that a good architecture school? UT Arlington was. And so he decided to stay, finished at UT Arlington, ends up working for HKS. He's kind of designed a lot of different things over the years. The Brewers' new spring training facility in Arizona, some other big projects I can't remember right now, but he got the call as the lead designer on Globe Life Field. And so Fred was interviewed big time when they did the 2020 World Series there. They did a lot on the ballpark because it was Rangers hadn't played there yet, right? They were trying to, because of COVID, and then they played that World Series in front of nobody there. But he did a lot of media with ESPN, and Fred's a very smart guy, probably our most famous graduate in a sense, because of all he's been able to do. But to be able to do that, and he had a lot of different ideas from older ballparks that he had kind of integrated into it. And I had the treat a year ago. I was downtown, and Fred showed up with his brother at the West Star Bank Club downtown right before the ball game, and I asked him to come sit with me on seats, and I talked to him for 2 hours about the ballpark and got the whole inside story from him, which was great for me. I haven't got the personal tour when I've been to a game yet, but I was there for the Dodgers series a few weeks ago over Easter weekend. But I'm going to get that one of these days from Fred. But yeah, Fred Ortiz, designer of Globe Life Field, 1985 Irvine High graduate.
That's awesome. Like I gave myself like my own personal tour because I showed up 5 hours before everyone else was going to show up. I just wanted to like be in the area, check out the stadium.
Did you get up in center field? There's these elevators, and there's this perch all the way up at the top, and it's unbelievable how high it is. You're literally sitting on top of the ballpark near the roof where the flags are hanging. But if you take this elevator up, I went up one time to show. I took my mom and my sister to a game. We live in Dallas, and my sister, and we went all the way up to the top. And Zach Hampel, remember the foul ball guy, or the guy who catches the home run balls, sold the ball back to A-Rod. Remember all that? And he was up there filming a bit, and he was calling it the highest point in baseball. He said the highest point in any ballpark in the country. Wow. That you look that far down. So that's a cool spot there. I've been all over it, crawled all over it many times. I've probably seen about 40 or 50 there now. And I do a lot more here in the summers when I have summers off. So getting ready to do some. I was hoping to be in Pittsburgh this weekend, but unfortunately I'm not. Got a win there last night, by the way. And then they're going down to Baltimore. I did see 4 in Camden Yards last year, the Rangers and the Orioles, which was great. Camden's amazing too. Toward the top of the list as well, not far down from Fenway. Camden, changed the way they build ballparks because they started doing it more, incorporating into neighborhoods and with the warehouse in right field. What a beautiful park that is.
Oh, yeah.
That's a trip. I mean, if you're a baseball guy, put that one on the list for sure.
I mean, for me, first of all, I'd say the nicest ballpark is PNC in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, beautiful.
That was 2018.
I was supposed to see it this weekend.
It was amazing. I got an outfield seat. But then I walked in and I wanted to see that behind home plate view of the Roberto Clemente Bridge and the beautiful majestic skyline. Yeah. And then there was a seat about 20 rows from the field, and that's where I decided to park myself and watch fireworks night.
Did you go to the Clemente Museum?
No, I didn't have.
I want to do that as well.
There for a night. Yeah. But Tip and I were there the day after Judge hit 62 back in October of 22, I guess it was, and luckily the roof was open that day. Remember I sent you pictures?
And that was a rarity. They, what they have a problem with there is the humidity, and they have a surface on the concourse that gets slippery if there's any amount of humidity. So even if it's 80s outside, a lot of times if there's humidity in the air, they will not open the roof. And it is an amazing ballpark with the roof open.
It is. We saw that.
So much more grand and amazing to me. I did get it to see some in the postseason in 23 with it open.
Yeah, the cool thing was it took 10 minutes to close a roof when we left?
Yeah.
We saw it closing
quick the way that
it was
all that Texas Live stuff outside. Did you guys see all that?
Yeah.
During the Dodger series, they had all these Mexican bands and things playing after the games. The Dodger fans, it was absolute party.
The barbecue.
I saw so many people from El Paso that
Remember
weekend.
that barbecue joint you sent me to?
Yeah,
or was it you? I don't know. Somebody sent me to it.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
They had the sausage.
It was I know you like sausage, but I mean I couldn't resist. Sorry.
I knew the puns were coming.
Yeah, they were just right down the
No,
pipe.
but it actually was really, really good. Everything was good there. Including the
and,
sausage.
and that was one of the cool things too. Like I said last year, going there for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, home run derby, all that stuff.
Lockhart's Barbecue.
Lockhart's Barbecue.
Yes.
He got to hear the famous national anthem.
Yes, I was there for the worst national anthem.
Who was that?
This girl that was drunk.
Oh,
The one that was
she said she was drunk.
she wasn't drunk though, was she?
It's
Wasn't
such
she-
an easy excuse to
Isn't
be
she
like
an Emmy Award?
she was a
winning?
I
Grammy,
think I remember that one.
a Grammy
Yeah.
Award nominated country singer comes out there for the national anthem. And I'm kicking myself in the ass because I met one of my friends there. We go over to the bar. We're going to get some beers. And the next thing I know, I'm hearing what is a dog screaming the national anthem. And I'm sitting there to myself because, I'm former military, so I'm standing, perfect the way that you should. And the entire time I'm just like scanning over everyone, and you just hear people looking at each other like, what the hell is going on here?
What do we pay for here? You know,
It's great whenever you're in a stadium for like amazing sports moments, right? Like I was at a Spurs game against the Miami Heat as a regular season game. The Heat beat the Spurs with Tim Duncan that far away from blocking a shot from Chris Bosh, right? Like it's just right there over his hand. Chris Bosh makes it goes in. The entire crowd in San Antonio goes silent, right? Like it's great to be there for moments like that. It was amazing to be there for what is considered the worst national anthem
was bad.
of all time.
I was listening to it. I was like, "Am I really hearing what I'm
Yeah.
hearing?" Like, and then I realized he was there, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
There's been some hit or miss at our ballpark too, a couple times, but
yeah,
I don't know.
not
Yeah,
as bad
but
as
I
this.
mean,
$2 beer night can
Yeah,
make
yeah, that's always a good night to be there.
you're expecting AA, AAA to have something like this. Is the Major League Baseball All-Star.
Yeah, you
game.
don't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I was working at ESPN whenever Fergie did her terrible national anthem at the NBA All-Star game, and I remember I was the one that had to cut the highlight of that and send it to Sports Center. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, something I did is going to be used
And you
today. So there we go.
And I'm a Fergie fan.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
That the one you saw live though was worse than the
Oh,
Fergie
so
one.
much worse. The one thing I will say, the thing about the Fergie one is she finishes that national anthem and she has a look of pride on her face. Like I absolutely
hit a home
killed it.
run.
And I just imagine she goes backstage or back into the locker room and opens up her phone, looks at Twitter for 10 seconds, is like, yeah, I'm putting that away for the rest of the day.
That's going in the archive.
Hey, coming up on Tuesday, guys, can we talk about the
Yes.
Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Very special situation going on with Joe Mensch getting inducted.
Very proud of him.
Yeah, somebody who was, had a big hand in my career, helping me over the years and spending 35 years in the media here, 10 at the Herald Post with him, 10 more at the El Paso Times with him. And then, I went on to Channel 7 for about 14, 15 years, but just a guy who really deserved the honor. And it's taken a while to get him in.
Sure.
I think that's part of the fun of it is that, I'm not sure that, they wanted him in at first, but we figured out a way here and it's happening. And despite the 16 no votes, which I don't know that anyone's ever gotten no votes, even Duke talked about that on his Facebook page, by the way. And that kind of brought that to my attention. Duke Keith was amazed at that. They had one person in the category, media supporter category, and Joe got 16 no votes, and people were very surprised by that. I wasn't, somewhat, but at the same
what
time,
would be the reasoning behind the no votes?
I don't know.
Just to abstain from voting, I guess. 'cause they don't wanna-
I guess they don't feel it in their heart to vote for him. But of course, if there's only one person in the category, he's going to get in as long as there's more yeses than nos. But I don't think they've ever seen that with the Hall of Fame. So it was interesting. So it made the struggle worthwhile. And Joe is very deserving. All the years he wrote about sports in this area, not just here, but up at New Mexico State as well. Joe came here as a walk-on baseball player at New Mexico State, and then took the Aggie media by storm over there. Did some cool stuff like putting a newspaper with no picture and then a cut line below it saying it was the Aggie defense at one time. He did a lot of crazy stuff like that, having some fun with it. But Joe made people laugh, and Joe was a guy who taught me what a story was. And that's important in the business. If you can figure out what people want to read about or what they care about and bring it to them. And that's what he said to do. And I did that religiously over the years, and he rewarded me religiously with it. So it was great to be able to work with a guy like that. And he's so deserving. And it's just ironic that it took so long. Joe's in his 70s now but he's going to give
Hey,
that
at least he
speech
got
on Tuesday
in.
night.
At least he
Yeah.
got in.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
happy.
beautiful. It's a great thing and quite an accomplishment, despite the situation.
And
but he's in there now with all those great guys.
he gave
Well
me
deserved.
motivation now too. So if I ever get nominated, I hope I get 17 no
Yeah,
votes.
you'll get all no votes. Well, wait a minute.
Who?
I think the no vote
Wait,
category.
Who is this
I-
guy?
I think I'll hold the record there. So
So
please
Michael
don't
Robert
nominate me.
Tipton.
Please don't.
We got to find a way to get Darren Hunt nominated.
No.
Oh, that would be great.
We've got to see how many
That would be great. I would
No.
love that.
No, that would top the no votes.
between the
That
three
would
of us. I
top
think
Joe's
Brandon's got the best chance again.
Yeah, I don't
He
know about
does.
that. I
You've
was
been around a long time
nominated
now.
once. I was nominated one time years ago,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm still.
I was reading your bio a while back and how you came here, and then you came back from Chicago to
Mhm.
here
Yep,
again.
yep.
So you were here since like the early '90s.
Well,
mid-nineties.
technically, I came in '86
Okay.
to live here from LA,
Mhm.
and then moved to Chicago in '89 and came back in '91.
Yeah. This city's
been
made
here a
up
long
of so many
time.
people like you. I mean, I think of Paul Strelzin when I think of people like you and
Sure.
that came here and did great things here and like what he did at Bowie, standing up to people down there. And he was just bigger than life, wasn't he? He was like this character out of the Bronx.
He was a lot
You
of
know, I
interesting
mean,
people. like that.
I miss people like that.
Sure,
And
sure. A lot of
we don't have those
characters.
heroes. Joe Mensch, character,
He's a good guy.
Coach
Louis
Haskins
Manganini.
was a character.
Yeah, and you had a lot
Um,
of great moments with Coach Haskins.
Oh, it was
over
blessed.
over the years. You know?
Yeah, blessed to be able to spend time with him. So yeah,
Darren,
I think
I'm
he
not-
thought I was a character a little
Oh,
bit.
a little bit, I'm sure, knowing you.
Darren, I'm not sure if you heard
My
that.
favorite was when I was walking with my first wife, and we were in Albuquerque, and he was walking up the tunnel after the shoot around, and he said, "Darren, who's this?" I said, "This is my wife." And he said, "Well, this isn't the girl you had with you on the last one." I said,
Well,
Great.
thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.
I was married. Now I'm divorced. But,
That's how he got you back for the tough questions. So I'm going to ask you a tough question.
Oh, we love Coach Haskins. He was a good guy. That was funny. That's too funny.
So that's one of the cool things. We're talking about the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Joe Mensch getting voted in there. Do you know what the criteria is to like be nominated, like any of that stuff? Because I always see that happening, but I've never.
This is what makes it interesting. It varies. I mean, you've got people in there that were inducted in their 30s, and they're media members. I don't understand that. I don't know why anybody would get inducted that young as a media member, but 30s, 40s, 50s even. But I mean, Joe's in his 70s, and we've been fighting for years while younger people get inducted, and people that maybe were deserving, but maybe not people who have lived here as long or spent as much time in the business. And, after a while, you realize that it's not just about, it's kind of a popularity contest at times. And if you don't play that, then you're not going to be able to, and it's tough. But I think Joe could have given two, whatevers over getting in. But just getting him in is just such a cool thing. And it's
wonderful.
a victory for a lot of us because we always supported Joe over the years. We loved him. Whereas a lot of people, even in the business, it was tough at times. And so, Joe's an awesome guy. And I think everybody loves him now. And I think back then they didn't necessarily like him as much, but he is definitely a El Paso character, and he deserves this honor. And he's going in the hall.
Our guy, Augustine Pimentel, had a bunch of comments here. He says the reason for no votes, simply put, a-holes.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
And he goes on to say that Darren Hunt is a good guy, and Teicher would vote hell no towards me. For something. I don't understand this. Like, I think I would get a hell no from a lot of people, not just Teicher.
No.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, absolutely.
Tice wrote a letter to endorse Joe for the hall. Duke wrote a letter. Nolan Richardson, I contacted him. There were a lot of big people that pushed for him, people that are in the Hall of Fame. And I think that maybe changed it a little bit. Steve does such a good job, Cappy, nominating people, and he's carried the load for Joe. And I want to thank him for that because Steve's been a good friend in that sense to Joe, and he's followed this through. And I don't know that it's been a popular fight, but it's done now, and it's a beautiful thing. And on Tuesday, it's going to be official.
It's going to happen. And Cappy's celebrating his 30th year in radio.
Yeah, that's crazy,
next
isn't
week.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were all kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and now,
absolutely.
yeah, it's just unbelievable
Unbelievable.
that we're all even still here.
Yeah, thank God.
30 years ago, I was 11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. This guy's the pop of the group.
Yeah. No.
That makes you 41. So.
Yeah.
So that means I was 16
Yeah. Old.
if I'm 46.
Old AF. That's
Yeah,
what the
he's a
community-
little bit
that's
older.
What that's what the
Yeah, I
young
was
kids say. These
Old
days.
AF.
I was 28 30 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the Cowboys were winning a Super Bowl
Yeah.
yeah.
Back in my day, Sonny.
last time.
You can watch that on VHS.
Yes, we can.
Ken
Yes,
thought I'd probably see another one by now, but it ain't happened. So
As a Cowboys fan, I also say I thought I would see something, but I'm also going to say, well, I'll never see it again.
no, maybe not.
I've got that thought
Probably
process.
not in our
until Jerry
lifetime.
dies, man.
Yeah.
Not
then-
until Jerry
not,
dies.
not right now. That's for damn sure.
And I was talking about this the other day on the show as well. The Lakers selling for $10 billion, right? Obviously, you're buying the Lakers because that's a huge marketing arm. Imagine what the Dallas Cowboys would sell for.
15, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd say anywhere between 15 to 20, man, because you talk about recognizable brands. That's what you're buying is a recognized.
They're the most valuable sports
Yeah.
franchise, hands down.
According to Forbes 2024, the Lakers were valued at 7.1. The Cowboys were valued at 10.1.
So 15.
15
it's
would be
safe to say
easy.
between 12 to 15 they would sell for today.
They're,
Nowadays,
you know, obviously Steven's getting them next, right? And it
Yeah.
stays in the Jones name. Does the curse continue from Jerry to Steven?
he's got to
That's the
do a better
question.
job of running
but
the organization than
they've
Jerry
done-
does. That's for sure.
They've done a great job running the organization. I don't know what you're talking about. This team came into last season. Everyone was looking at them saying the roster the Dallas Cowboys have is good enough to win a Super Bowl. They just
I
had
agree
a
with you
bad
and all that.
season.
But this is what Jerry needs to do. Jerry does not need to hold press conferences in the locker room after games.
He's a
Stay out of
GM.
it.
He's a
Stay out of
GM.
it. Go and talk to the people you need to talk to that is important behind the scenes and get what you want and get your satisfaction out of it. But do not stand there in front of the media and pick this team apart. Leave the coaches and the people you hire and your GM to handle those situations. Stay out of it. I mean, Jerry just needs to be a little more humble and he would be great. But you know my theory, right? I mean, he won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s. A few years ago, this child of his surfaced, right? And the whole thing with getting sued. And he certainly was living it up after those Super Bowls. So God said, Jerry, no more Super Bowls. And until he's gone, I don't think they win another one.
Well, I mean, Tip always makes a good point. He says, if somebody told you you're going to win 3 Super Bowls in your lifetime, you'd be ecstatic. So, I mean, we're just spoiled, but ultimately you would want them to at least advance in some capacity and be
Well, it's just-
competitive.
I mean, no NFC championship games.
Exactly.
I
Well,
mean,
this is
you
what
know,
I-
you don't even get to the divisional
That's
round.
the hardest. That's the
usually.
hardest thing.
I mean,
you know?
This is what I say all the time. If somebody would have told you at the beginning of this 33 years ago, you're going to win 3 Super Bowls, but you're going to go 30 years without winning,
Yeah.
would you take that bet?
Would you take
No,
the bet?
Or would you
no.
take that deal?
You
Just
take the
because
deal,
I
I
mean,
think,
simply
you know?
there's 32 teams in the NFL. I mean, you'd think by now, like,
Well,
it would
here's
go in
the
cycles
crazy-
and
how
you would
many
get
other
one.
teams
No.
are in there besides them? You know what I
and
mean?
This is
In
the
the
thing
meantime.
this is the thing that I always talk about too. Like you talk about those 32 teams in the NFL. Utopia, the perfect scenario. Every team wins one once every 32 years. So you'd have to wait 96 years to win 3 as a Dallas Cowboys fan in Utopia. So the fact that
Well,
we
the
got
90s were
3
great.
Yeah.
I mean, the 70s were great. I was around for that. I was a kid. I saw Roger Staubach do it. And I mean, as a little kid. So, you know, there were 2 periods there. We got the 2 and then we got the 3 all together. But yeah, I mean, I would never guess that it would have taken that long. And I just cannot, I can't stomach that our owner holds a press conference discussing what happened in the game. I mean, just who does that in the NFL? Does anybody else do that?
He's
No.
the general manager.
Wow.
Of course he has to. It's a part of the job.
He has the wrong title. He's the owner. Stay out of it.
It's
Hire a guy to do it, even if it's your son. But
it's
stay out of it.
crazy that like I've taken this avenue as the guy that like defends Jerry
Ah.
Jones. I don't like what this place you guys have put me in. This is not a place for me to be. I don't need to be the one defending Jerry Jones, but he's a general manager.
Sure, he
He's
has
gotta
a
talk
say.
about
He
it.
could say things in front of the media, but choose not to. Sometimes you got to walk away and say, "I'm not going to do that." It's not working for him.
Well, we've seen
It's
times
not working.
where Jerry walks away, then he gets on the radio station in Dallas, and then lets it all hang
Yeah,
out like it just
He's
festers
driving around
inside
in
of
his car and he's
Yeah.
screaming in the car at people on the radio. That's not how I want my owner to conduct himself.
Augustine Pimentel said the roster of the Cowboys have been good enough to win a Super Bowl in 1974. That's how good the Dallas Cowboys would have been. And then Tommy Carranza saying, F Jerry.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
the only one that's like, Jerry's done a good job. He-
Yeah.
Cowboys have to be as good as their cheerleaders.
David
Cowboys-
chimes in.
yes, David yelling from the disembodied voice of David coming to bless us saying that the Dallas Cowboys need to be as good as their cheerleaders. That hurts.
Yeah, well,
He's an Eagles fan, so I can't give him any crap. Like his team just won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Oh God,
Those Eagles fans are the worst. Watch out for flying half-full beers if there's an Eagles fan in the room. Worst fans in sports.
yeah.
Philadelphia Eagle fans.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
for
David.
Dave.
David's a
Except
good
for
guy.
Dave's
but
the only good one out of
Yeah,
them.
he's a
That is
nice
the
Eagles
place I
fan,
would
you
think
know?
twice about going seeing it.
I mean,
I mean,
you
they threw
know,
snowballs at Santa Claus.
I mean, Philly's still. I've been to Philly a few times. They're rough over there.
They're rough.
They're ball busters, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an interesting town. Good cheesesteak sandwich.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. Good greases over there.
Don't wear that shirt there.
Yeah, no, are you kidding me? I wouldn't. I would turn it inside out.
I always love telling this story. Whenever I was in the Air Force, as I was getting out, I did a job interview in Washington, D.C. They're looking over all my stuff. They say, "We see that you're from Texas. Are you a Dallas Cowboys fan?" I say, "Yes, I am." They're like, "This is a job for you to work within the city of D.C.
Yeah.
We don't think being a Dallas Cowboys fan is going to be a good
Probably
thing
wouldn't
for
go
you."
over well for you.
You know, as a matter of fact, I actually kind of hate them. I was just being facetious.
Tommy Kanatsa saying Jerry is the best owner in sports. He's just also the worst GM.
There you go.
In
That's
sports
that's
as well.
a great comment.
That's a good analogy.
He's built an amazing again.
No, he has.
This team last year, we said this is a Super Bowl contending team because of the roster Jerry Jones built. How are we just gonna that quick turn on?
Yeah, I just want somebody else to run that roster. Get him the players. He's done that. I get that they have the team to win it, but don't do interviews after the game and let the coach handle all the flack and all those kind of things and stay out of it. That's all he's got to do. I mean, it's really easy. It's simple. He doesn't have to pay me anything for my advice, and he could just
Season
don't
tickets.
just don't walk up to every microphone and love it like he does. You know,
I need him to because I'm applying for a credential with the Cowboys, and I just need to get there within the aura
Yeah.
of Jerry Jones. I'll
Jerry,
be like,
I had a couple of moments with Jerry alone, personally, when he was bringing the Cowboys here for a scrimmage back in,
early
95,
90s, right? Yeah.
95,
mid
yeah.
early 90s.
96.
And, you know, I went to Cowboy camp. Joe Mensch sent me to Cowboy camp. Come full turn, Hall of Famer Joe Mensch, by
There
the
we
way.
go.
Sent me to Cowboy camp. And when I got there, I had a hard time getting interviews because there were so many people. It was the year, I think maybe Switzer was the coach or something. Anyway, it was one of those years. And it was just wild. And so I decided to wait for Jerry. He was leaving the St. Edward's gym. They were practicing at St. Edward's then. That's where they had camp. And he was doing an interview with somebody. So I decided to wait by the door and tell him I was from El Paso and see how he reacted, because he was trying to bring that scrimmage here. And he was talking like, we're going to be the only team in the NFL to sell out a scrimmage, you know, not even an exhibition game, a scrimmage and all this. So he was proud of it. So I caught him at the door, told him I was from El Paso, and he just started talking. And he said, walk with me. So we walked over to the field. They had fields like back to back, 2 full football fields. The media was to go to the other side of the field, and they kept us on that side. Players and coaches and everybody were on this side of the field. So we walked up to the near side of the field. I talked to him a little about El Paso. He was so, you know, we're going to be the first team to ever do that. And, you know, it's a real feather in our cap as the Cowboys and this and that. No other team can do it. And, you know, Jerry quotes, you know, great stuff for me, because Joe would do flips that I'm getting him to talk, you know, specifically about El Paso. So we get to the corner of the field, and I say, well, thanks, you know, Mr. Jones, I appreciate you. And he goes, oh, walk with me some more. So he walks up and down the sidelines among the players and has me walking with my pad, and I'm the only media member over there, and nobody says anything because I'm walking with him. And it's all I can do not to look at all of those other clowns I've been fighting for days for interviews on the other side and go, no, you know, and I'm walking around with Jerry Jones. I couldn't believe it, but it's just timing, one of those things, you know. So when they come to El Paso, they finally scrimmage. They end up with the Raiders here one of the times, I guess. And I think Jerry got tired of talking to me. He was standing down by the tunnel in the Sun Bowl end zone there, the tunnel end of it. And before the game, and I was talking to him, getting a few things. And he asked me if I'd ever met Al Davis. And I said, no, never met Al Davis. And Al Davis was right there. So he walked me over and introduced me to Al Davis. I shook his hand. But Al wasn't real interested in talking to me. But I did get to meet Al Davis through Jerry Jones.
That's cool.
In that
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's an awesome
this
story.
gentleman, he's also interviewed Michael Jordan too.
That happened.
Look
Yeah. Fall League, Arizona, 1994.
Yeah.
We were
When
going
he
to
was
cover
playing with the Bears.
Joe Mensch, again, Hall of Famer Joe Mensch, sent me to Phoenix to cover the Cowboys and the Cardinals. And the day before, we got credentials and saw Jordan in a Fall League game. Yeah. And it was fun. And after the game, I walked with him, and somebody snapped a pic of me. And I have this great pic of me and Michael Jordan together walking. I'll find it for you.
I'd like
Look
to
at
see
that.
that.
A
And
picture of him
yeah,
and
so that
Michael
was cool.
Jordan.
He wasn't real talkative. He didn't want to talk to me either, like most people, but but he was cordial and a nice man, and I felt for him because he had lost his father. At that time, I think it was less than a year since that had happened to him.
If I
So
can find
yeah, I have it. I have it.
Tommy
It was just
Carranza,
another
while you look that up, we'll just mention what Tommy Carranza said here. He says, Mike, Jerry isn't making any personnel decisions anymore. Will McClay is the real general manager.
Okay.
Stephen Jones has more influence than Jerry
Maybe he
does
knows something
now.
we don't. Yeah, that's cool. All right, look at that guy.
Look at that. Look at this. Young.
Can we show it somewhere?
That is awesome.
We can show it like
I mean,
this.
I don't think it'll get the picture, but there's proof. For all you nerds out there that want to say it didn't happen, there's proof that it happened right
Kinda
there.
cool, huh?
Yeah, send that to me. So sign it, please.
Brent,
The kids
Brent,
at Andrus, man, they don't know a lot of the old players, but I worked an alternative program out there. It's kind of tough at times, but a lot of the kids, you can connect with them through sports and things, and they know who Michael Jordan is.
Oh,
So show them that pic, you gain a little bit of respect.
Heck yeah, dude. That's
the
amazing.
greatest of all time. Like, who doesn't know who Michael Jordan is? Brandon thinks LeBron James is the greatest. Of
No,
all
I
time.
don't. Don't give me that crap.
Yes, you
He
said
is
it
not-
the other day.
I did not say that. That's a bunch of
You
BS.
said
Don't give me that
LeBron-
look.
You said
I did
LeBron
not
is
say
my
that.
goat.
I did not say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
Your goat.
That's what he
He's
said.
your goat.
No, not at all. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. We'll never
He
see
is.
another athlete like LeBron
No, but
in
he's
the
not,
NBA.
he's not a goat.
Remember whenever Zion Williamson was supposed to be the next LeBron James?
I do.
That didn't work out.
That
Not
didn't
at
work
all.
out.
Couldn't
Too
put-
often injured.
Have we really filled an hour talking?
Yes,
man?
boy, I'm
great.
glad
No,
we
we
got
have.
to have you on. See, I told you we'd have a good time.
I'm kind of hungry now.
Me too. Let's get a grease.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just a couple of comments here real quick. Augustine saying, don't wear that shirt here in El Paso because it just screams loser. I don't know if he's talking to you or to me as I'm wearing my UTEP Miners shirt.
I think it's-
Probably this year, but that's okay. I'll hear. Is this better?
Maybe he'll clarify.
Maybe he'll
Here.
be able to clarify
Here,
that
there
up
you
as
go.
well.
There you go, loser.
And then Tommy Cananza saying, if it was up to Jerry, we would have drafted Johnny Manziel instead of a Hall of Fame guard and Zach Martin.
It's true.
I will never understand the Jerry Jones hate. But what I do understand is that you can come out here to Buffalo Wild Wings until June 26th and get the all-you-can-eat wings. Also enjoy the $4 Wild Herd beers that they have here. That's a house beer that they have here. $5 Bud Lights and then $6 Voodoo Ranger IPA. Brandon, tell them about the BOGOs.
BOGO Tuesday. Buy an order of regular bone-in wings, get one half off, including fries. Thursdays, BOGO, complete BOGO, boneless wings
Nice.
with fries.
Darren, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning
Good
into
to
the
see you
show.
again.
We will
My
see you
buddy.
all
We'll
next
see you
week.
Thursday at the ballpark.